Welcome to Evolution Time-Lapse. Imagine a time-lapse from a single, fixed camera positioned right at the sacred mosque, left to run for over 4,000 years. You'd watch Mecca, the holiest city in Islam, transform from a completely silent, arid valley into the beating spiritual heart of the world. Today, we're tracing that exact awe-inspiring journey. We're going to explore how a remote location in the desert evolved over millennia into a global epicenter that anchors the daily lives of countless people. It's a story of incredible physical and spiritual transformation, and honestly, it captures an unbroken line of human history that literally has no parallel. To truly grasp the magnitude of this transformation, we've got to just pause and look at the numbers. 2 billion. That's nearly a quarter of the entire global population. This once quiet, remote valley is now the undeniable spiritual heart for nearly 2 billion Muslims worldwide. It's an evolution of scale that's frankly kind of difficult to wrap your mind around. We're talking about a single focal point that unites people across entirely different continents, spanning thousands of different languages and encompassing vastly diverse cultures. From the bustling streets of Jakarta to the quiet suburbs of North America, this single geographical location serves as an unprecedented anchor in human geography. And it's not just about the sheer size of the population, it's about the constant rhythmic nature of daily devotion. For 14 unbroken centuries, this precise location has been the destination of prayers 5 times a day. If you think about the mechanics of our rotating planet and all the different global time zones, there is quite literally a continuous, unbroken wave of physical prayer directed at this exact coordinate every single second of the day. As the sun rises and sets across the globe, the focus shifts westward, creating this perpetual ring of human attention. Just imagine the sheer volume of spiritual focus directed at this single point on Earth, day in and day out, across 1,400 years. It's absolutely a level of continuous human focus entirely unique in our history. Section 1. The historical record anchoring 4,000 years of facts. Okay, let's dive into this. When I started researching the source material for this explainer, I approached the topic with the deepest respect. Because this is the spiritual center of one of the world's great religions, we made absolutely sure that every single detail we discuss is heavily anchored in rigorous historical fact and meticulously cross-referenced. We're relying on the foundational texts of Islam itself, the Quran, as well as the canonical Hadith collections of Bukhari and Muslim, which are these highly scrutinized records of the Prophet's sayings and actions. We also draw upon foundational early biographies by Ibn Ishaq and Ibn Hisham, alongside al-Azraqi's monumental 9th century history of Mecca. And that one is super important because it serves as the absolute oldest surviving historical account of the city's early structures. But this historical record doesn't just stop in antiquity, right? It builds continuously through the centuries. We're looking at a diverse, unbroken chain of documentation. We've got the expansive chronicles of the historian al-Tabari. We also have these incredibly vivid medieval travel accounts from intrepid explorers like Ibn Jubair and Ibn Battuta. And these weren't just dusty, distant records. These were vivid, first-hand accounts of the city's day-to-day life. Add to that the highly detailed, strict bureaucratic records kept by the Ottoman courts, going all the way up to modern Saudi state archives. Every date and event behind our analysis is unequivocally real, supported by centuries of continuous human observation. Let's move to and see how this builds across a massive timeline. These distinct historical checkpoints elegantly map out Mecca's physical and historical evolution. We have this continuous thread from al-Azraqi recording the earliest city structures back in the 9th century to Ibn Battuta walking those exact same streets and documenting his experiences in the 14th century, straight through to massive architectural milestones reconstructed in the 17th century. We aren't just looking at isolated moments in time here. We're looking at a thoroughly documented continuum where each generation left a precise record of what this spiritual epicenter looked like and exactly how it functioned during their era. Section 2. The enduring Kaaba, a constant in a changing world. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the theme that surfaces most deeply from all this data, and that is continuity. In a world completely defined by constant shift and sudden change, the Kaaba stands as an unparalleled anchor. The central structure standing today is essentially the exact same building rebuilt by Sultan Murad IV in 1630. Now just think about everything that's happened globally since 1630. Through the entirety of the modern era, through the dawn of the scientific revolution, the sprawling industrial revolutions, and devastating global wars that completely reshaped the map of the world, that single central structure has remained resolutely fixed. It's a profound physical and spiritual constant that just completely defies the passage of time. And this brilliantly illustrates an incredible contrast between the volatility of human history and the stillness of this holy site. I mean, the contrast is stark. Across 4 millennia, empires rose to staggering heights of wealth and power and eventually crumbled entirely to dust in a whirlwind of global volatility. Grand caliphates and powerful dynasties came and went. But through all of that dramatic upheaval, the Kaaba remained unshaken. It represents a point of total permanence amidst global chaos. The source material highlights this beautifully. While human politics and borders are inherently fragile and temporary, this focal point of faith stood firm. Section 3. The Unbroken Circle, 14 Centuries of Pilgrimage. This brings us to the deeply human element of this incredible continuity. It's one thing for a stone building to survive the test of time, but it's an entirely different phenomenon for human behavior to remain utterly unchanged around it for more than a millennium. So the crucial point is this specific physical act of devotion. Pilgrims have been walking the exact same circles around the Kaaba for more than 14 centuries. Which brings us to a compelling question. How does a place of such unfathomable, deep history continue to dynamically shape our modern world? The historical record leaves us with a powerful reminder that while the world around us shifts rapidly, our deepest anchors remain. Thank you for walking through this journey of over 4,000 years of Mecca with us. If this explainer of Mecca's profound history brought you a new perspective, please consider subscribing. We'll be back next time on Evolution Timeline to analyze another source where deep history still shapes the present. Until then, as our source material beautifully puts it, keep looking up and keep wondering.